Have you ever wondered why you get on really well with some people and they just get what you're saying every single time? And then there's other people who always seem to just misunderstand what you mean, and you just, when you see them coming, you want to run a mile. What it comes down to is our personality style. We have different styles and there are conflicts between the different styles. Whichever model you use, there's generally four different styles that we fall into. So whether you've done MBTI, HBDI, DISC, Hogan or Jung, what you'll find is there are four styles in those, and some of them split into even more. With the Management Bites program, we use birds, and what we find is that people love the birds and it's much quicker to understand. And I'm going to take you through it in just a few minutes, and you'll get a good understanding of your style and others' style. So how it works is there are two axes. Some of us are more slower and methodical and structured. We like to take our time and think things through logically. And then some of us are more fast-paced and non-structured. Logic really doesn't come into it. We're sort of all over the place doing what we want to do as quickly as possible. Then there are those of us who are quite focused on how people are feeling, what emotions are going on, and what beliefs are sitting behind that. And then some of you out there will be just going, actually, I prefer facts and figures. They're logical, they make sense, I like data. So if you fall in that top quadrant and you're more methodical and people focused, you might find that your main style is a dove. If you're down in the bottom quadrant, again, you're more methodical, but you really like data and figures, then you might find that your main style is an owl. If you're at the top and you're again a more emotional, people orientated, but more fast paced all over the place, you might be a peacock. Or you might find that you're fast paced and facts and figure focused, you're an eagle. You will have possibly one of these as your main style or a couple as your preferred style. It doesn't mean you can't adapt your style, but it does mean that you're more comfortable communicating and making decisions and thinking things through that way. And some people have a mixture of all four. So if you're mainly a dove, what you'll find is you're very peaceful, people focused and patient. You like to think about how the things are going to affect the team, and you're often the one checking, is everyone actually okay going through this issue? And I can see Sarah's not in a good mood today. You pick up on what's going on. You can be slower at taking action and making decisions, so you're really uncomfortable if you're not given time to think things through. And some of the other styles will say, come on, make a decision, just do it. And you'll say, actually, I just want to think it through, I need time. You prefer to work one-on-one or in a small team, so you can find it quite challenging if you're in a big meeting and you're asked to talk in front of everybody. But if you are asked to talk just one-on-one, you're absolutely comfortable. And you really don't like conflict. So when people aren't getting on with each other and arguing, or if things are changing really fast and you haven't got time to get to grips with it, that's where you'll feel uncomfortable. So all the styles have really good points about them. All of them have challenges. We actually need all four styles in a team to work well together. And about 40% of the population worldwide actually have dove as their strongest preference. It looks a little bit different in different cultures, but those are the general behaviours that you will see from someone who is a dove. Now you might think, no, that's not me. Maybe you're an owl. If you're an owl, you're very detail focused and methodical. You can get very bogged down in detail, so you will go through that report line by line and you'll check every grammatical thing and every spelling and check that it's absolutely 100% perfect, which may mean you miss your deadline. You work really well with rules and structure, so you're very good at actually saying, hang on, we need to slow down, there is a process for this, we need to do this before we do that. So you are very good at actually making sure processes are actually followed. You're more realistic about what can be achieved because you take time to think through who's going to be involved in that, what's actually going to be needed to be done. And you're very logical and will make up your own mind. You also prefer to work alone, and you will argue with people if they point out that you're wrong because you've often done the research and you've looked into things. If they can give you other evidence, that's fine, but if they just tell you no, you're wrong, there will be an argument and you will be pointing out every single flaw in what they've pointed out. Interestingly, you find the people stuff quite illogical. It doesn't make any sense because people actually are illogical, whereas facts and figures do what you actually want them to. So again, about 40% of us are owls. That's our strongest style. And you might be in an engineering or a science role. A lot of IT people, a lot of accountants have owl as their strongest style. With Dove, it's a lot of customer service people, a lot of nurses, social workers, and HR people. So I think you find a role that suits your personality style. If you're a peacock, you love big picture creative thinking. You get really bored with too much detail. So this is where conflicts can come in. A peacock and an owl talking to each other, the peacock will say, let's not discuss the detail. The owl will say, actually, the detail is what we need to discuss. Peacocks like to be excited about things. They love telling stories and they exaggerate and get the facts completely wrong. It doesn't matter. You don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Again, that can aggravate certain other styles. Peacocks tend to jump from one thing to another and can find it hard to finish one task before starting on the next. Oh, an email's come in. Oh, it's something new to do. Let's go and do that. They really like to be involved. They love working in a team, and if this is you, you get energy from being with others. So you don't mind standing up in that big team meeting, and you like actually working in a team. You're very visual and you like to see pretty pictures, so you can influence peacocks just by putting a bit of colour or some pictures next to something, and they'll generally focus their attention on that. About 15% of us have peacock as our strongest style. A lot of sales and marketing people are peacocks. And then lastly, we've got eagles. Eagles make decisions very quickly, and this is based on facts and figures, not airy-fairy nonsense. They don't worry about all that stuff. What actually needs to happen? What's the evidence here? They like control and freedom to manage. They get very frustrated when no one's taking action. Biggest conflict is between an eagle and a dove. Because doves like to actually manage in their own time and think things through, eagles have a list. This is what needs doing and when, and they need to see action actually happening. Very self-disciplined. They like working quickly and they like working alone. And they have a very low tolerance of the feelings of others because they are so results focused, so they can sometimes be seen as quite aggressive. And about 5 of us worldwide have this as our main style. A lot of CEOs are eagles. So you may find that having a think about those different styles, you might have one that is mainly your style, or you might have a combination of 2. Some of us are more well adjusted across the 4 styles, and that way we're more adaptable. If you've got a very strong preference, that's where you'll find that conflicts may come in. So it's important to know your own style and other people's style. If you're interested in knowing more, we've got 2 of our Management Bites modules which deep dive into personality styles in a lot more depth and actually look at ways and techniques you can use to actually get on better with other people. So module 1 is me as a manager, which is about how you manage people. Module 1A is Clever Communications, which just focuses solely on communications. Or you could read my book, Management Bites, and there's more information available at www.managementbites.com. I hope you enjoyed this little insight into personality styles and hope that you work out your bird style and work out how you might be able to work better with people in your team.